everybody. It's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thank you guys for joining me for another Tuesday tip video. It's the last one in our series, our masterclass for March 2022. We've been talking about quick and easy wow cards, and today is no exception. We're going to create a really fun twist card. This is kind of fun because when the recipient gets it and they go to open it, it's just got a little twist, but guess what? It can be made fast and it is very simple to do. Are you ready to learn how? Okay, let me show you the cards we're going to create today. I just love these twist cards. I think it's really fun because when the recipient gets it, you notice the card just kind of does a little twist. Very fun. That's a Father's Day card. This is my fun birthday card, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. And you see the fun little twist going on there. Actually, this is the card we're going to create today, but it's nice to know you've got a nice Father's Day option. Let's talk about the supplies we need to create our card. So I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So that's just half of an 8 1/2 by 11. We'll do the scoring on this later. I'm using Melon Mambo for my card today. Now let's add a fun little bright accent piece here. This is Bermuda Bay. You're going to want that cut at 4 inches by 4 inches. We're going to take a piece of basic white so we can create our sentiment layer on top. That is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. You're going to need another piece of basic white, and this is 3 3/4 by 5. This is for the inside of my card. Now, let's also bring in some fun designer series paper for the side panels. I have 2 pieces in Daffodil Delight from the Brights collection. These are 1 inch by 4 inch. Now, the last thing we're going to need here on my card, you see I added this little accent. That is a pierced bloom from the Pierced Bloom dies. Love these. So we're going to do this little flower right here. It's just fun to kind of add a little something. So you're just going to want a piece of scrap that you can die cut that flower from. And the very last thing we need is a bow. And I've chosen the Playful Pets ribbon combo. There was a really great black and white baker's twine in there. So you're going to want some kind of little ribbon accent. All right. You know what? We are actually going to start with our stamping. So let's start with those 2 pieces of basic white. For our stamping today, I'm going to use 2 different stamp sets. The happiest of birthdays will be what I'm going to use for my sentiment because I loved that great big wishing you the happiest birthdays. And then on the inside, we'll say, it's your day, enjoy it. But for decorating the front, that In Bloom stamp set is just one of my favorites. Very fun, whimsical. So we're going to use that stamp set. Now, we're going to start with our 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 inch square. I've got my Memento black ink pad. I'm going to ink up that wishing you the happiest of birthdays. And let's just stamp that right here in the middle of our cardstock. I'm now going to bring in 2 ink pads, Bermuda Bay and Daffodil Delight. And we're going to create just some fun flowers here. So I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight here with this bigger flower. And I'm just going to stamp. You notice I'm stamping right on top of my sentiment. And we're just going to kind of fill in a little bit here. You notice I'm stamping off the cardstock. And that's just going to kind of give it a little bit more of a random look. And now with my Bermuda Bay, let's take this little bit smaller flower. And again, just kind of going around the edges just to give it a nice bright splash of color. Now remember, we were using that Memento black a second ago, and you know what? We have a great little set of dots, just a really great center to our flower. So let's come in and add that to each, the Daffodil Delight and the Bermuda Bay. I'm going to set that off to the side because now I want to go ahead and stamp the inside of my card. But I want to remind you, it's not going to go landscape, it's going to go portrait because remember our card twists. So let's be sure to have our cardstock in the portrait position. I'm going to stamp It's Your Day, enjoy it here at the top. And we'll add just a couple more of those gorgeous Daffodil Delight daisies there. And be sure to add the centers. Okay guys, stamping is done. Now let's talk about how to create the twist. All right, we're going to take the 11-inch side of that melon mambo and we're going to score that. Make sure your cutting blade is out of the way. Remember, the darker blade is your cutting blade, your lighter blade is your scoring blade. We're going to score that at 5.5 inches. Now, what I want you to do is slide it down to 4.25, and just with your score blade, just make yourself a tiny little tick mark. Just little tiny bit, just a little mark. That's going to give us the mark that we need to make our last score line. This is where we're going to make that great triangle. I'm going to put the top of my cardstock right there in the track, and that tick mark, I want that in the track. That's going to ensure I'm going to get that perfect 4.25 little fold right there. Give that a score. Guys, that's all there is to the twist card. Now, if you have missed any of the measurements for my card, not a problem. If you will head over to simplysimplestamping.com or just look down in the YouTube description for the direct link, I've got a free download for you. Pictures, supply list, measurements, everything that you need so you can recreate the card. Save it to your computer, print it out. You can rewatch the video through that link, and you can also order any of the supplies that you need there as well. Be sure to check it out. Get your free download over at simplysimplestamping.com. All right, now it's time to put this fun twist card together. All right, there is my score line. So we're going to fold that under and fold it over. That's it, okay? So remember, we've got that score line here, fold it under, fold it over. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my bone folder to give those two score lines a really good crease. Now we can put our card together. So you remember, we had that piece of the Bermuda Bay. We want to center that up in this section, but notice, we don't want adhesive here or we're going to seal our card shut. That's not going to be good. We only want adhesive up here. So I'm going to go ahead and just lay some adhesive right there and just some here. I don't want to go off the cardstock, of course, or up to that edge. Another tip that might be very helpful is when you adhere this down, you notice the point of my Bermuda Bay is at the point of my folded cardstock. So you can see it just lines up just right. So that might help you when you're centering it up. All right, we have that. Now let's go ahead. We're going to bring in those two pieces of the designer series paper. Of course, it's pretty on both sides, so you pick your favorite. You'll add one of those to the front of your card. And remember, it twists. And now we'll add our other piece right here on the inside. Hey, since we have our card open, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and add the middle of our card, or the inside of our card. And that's simple enough to just add. And there's a reason I used a piece of cardstock that is 3 3/4 by 5.5. And let me show you. I want it to be totally hidden. There is a risk if you made that any bigger that it might show, and we don't want to give away the surprise until the end. So 3 3/4 by 5 inch for the inside. All right, now we're going to take our fabulous stamped image, and I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals here. And in my opinion, dimensionals just make everything better. We're going to add that to the front of the card. Do you see how the dimensionals really help? Now, earlier, remember, we die cut one of our flowers from the pierced bloom. So let's go ahead and add that, but I want you to be aware, again, that part of this is going to hang off. So I'm going to only put adhesive on 3 of these petals. We'll add that to the side of our card, and then that fabulous little baker's twine bow. We're going to come in with a mini glue dot, and actually I'm going to do something. I'm going to take that mini glue dot, I'm going to roll it into a tiny little ball and add it to the center of my flower. And the reason I did that is because the knot there in my bow is very small. And so the glue dot's a little bit big, but not to worry. When you roll it, it comes out just right. So now we add our fabulous twist. Whoa! And isn't it just a fun card? And then here on my Father's Day card, I used Misty Moonlight as my card base and Cherry Cobbler, great masculine colors. I used the suit and tie dies and just said, have a happy Father's Day, handsome. Added the tie and some gold gilded gems inside to one of the world's greatest dads. Oh, and I have to show you this. This designer series paper, guess what? Tidings of Christmas. Yes, what a great way to use up some of my Christmas designer series paper. For that, it worked perfect for my Father's Day card. Guys, give the twist card a try. This is such a fun card to make. Thank you guys so much for being a part of my video today. If you enjoyed it, would you give me a thumbs up on YouTube? I always appreciate that from you. And if you haven't subscribed, why not click that great big red subscribe button? It's easy. YouTube will let you know whenever I'm back with a new video, and I'd love to have you here on my channel. Have a fabulous day, everybody. Go create something amazing this week. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.